Gothic stories have been steadily growing in popularity in the past couple of years, and it's easy to see why. The Gothic genre dates back to 1764 with the Castle of Otranto, and over the next 50 years we saw the rise of the now classics such as Frankenstein, The Vampire, Wuthering Heights, and the fall of House of Usher. And a century later, vampire stories such as Carmilla and Dracula cemented Gothic fiction as a genre obsessed with desire and the monstrous. With the new film adaptations of Frankenstein and Wuthering Heights, I feel like the Gothic revival seems stronger than ever. In today's video, I will be reading Blood on Her Tongue. I actually started this in my previous video, so you're welcome to see that. And I also will be giving some of my own Gothic recommendations for anyone craving something eerie and unsettling. I have only read 50 pages so far in my last video. The main premise of the book is that we have two twin sisters, Lucy and Sarah. And Sarah lives in the Netherlands in some kind of manor with a land. She's the lady of the house. She has a husband, blah, blah. Lucy has to go visit her sister after her sister mysteriously and gravely fell very, very ill after discovering a bug body in her land and also becoming obsessed with it. This book is told through not only the present POV and Lucy's POV, but we also get the letters from Sarah that date back to 19th of September 1887, and when Lucy goes to visit her sister, it is the 28th of September, so she gets ill within 10 days. Every couple of chapters we get a letter from Sarah, and she seems to be writing every day to Lucy about this body and what is happening with this body. And this body was buried in a very creepy way, face down, staked and tied to a piece of wood. They started trying to discover who this body was and what it is doing there. It's very atmospheric, I have to say. It's an amazing book to read in candlelight, but that's as much as I know so far. I'm only on chapter 4, so let's just continue reading. The plot thickens as we discover that Sarah has had some madness before. She fell into this sort of hysteria some time ago around when her daughter died. So it's very connected, her past hysteria with what's happening now, but also what's happening now is definitely much different, but obviously our characters think it's very much related. This book also has unrequited, forbidden love, desire themes, and they're a bit concerning. Also, it has started getting so vividly gory. Oh god, the passage I have just read, I'm not gonna say what it was, but it was so disgusting. It made me want to throw up. Like, actually, I've never had this type of reaction before. Like, I've read pretty gory stuff like The Unworthy. I don't know what it was about this one. I think it was just because we got so much detail on it. And it was so powerful. Alright, it's time for some Gothic recommendations, and starting with some classic vampire Gothic stories. Good books are Hungerstone, A Dowry of Blood, and House of Hunger. All of these feature a different take on vampirism, with Hungerstone being a retelling of Carmilla about a hidden world of hunger, desires, and feminine rage. I really enjoyed this one. That's why I picked up Blood on Her Tongue. I read this recently and it was just an amazing time. A Dowry of Blood tells the story of one of the first Dracula's wives, Constanta, and is a more sensual and obsessive story exploring themes of abuse and found family. House of Hunger focuses more on power exploitation and features Marion, who becomes a blood maid and discovers sinister practices and power dynamics behind the rich facades. For a different take on a Gothic horror, I would pick up I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me, which follows a driven ballerina lore, who makes a deal with a strange entity in the Paris catacombs to gain power against the cutthroat and racist world of ballet. I loved the critique of ballet hierarchies and practices in this book. It was so raw and eerie. Definitely a really well done book. If you're looking for a gothic romance fantasy, I'd definitely pick up The Monstrous Kind or Starling House. The Monstrous Kind is a Regency-inspired novel where Merrick returns home after her father's death only to find her estranged sister missing, while the family manor is haunted by monstrous beings hidden in the fog. It's inspired by Sense and Sensibility and is shrouded in mystery throughout the whole book. Starling House follows orphaned Opal, who takes a job cleaning the well-known eerie and spooky Starling House to earn money to take care of her younger brother. She then finds herself entangled in the house's supernatural powers and secrets. She has to confront history and family alongside the manor's heir and fight for her own agency to shape her own life. Some honorable mentions are The Unworthy and Our Wives Under the Sea, which are not strictly gothic stories, but they do have some gothic elements such as supernatural or oppressive settings, intense and ominous atmospheres, and psychological and body horror. And in a lighter tone, I would also recommend Masters of Death and Lady Macbeth, that still have haunting settings and have a focus on mortality but aren't as horror focused. As you can see, I do really like some gothic stories. I don't know what it is, but I have been obsessed with it lately, and maybe it's because the trend is rising again. I really hope so, because I think gothic stories can reflect the societal issues really well. So it's not only enjoyable but also thought-provoking. Or let me know if you have any gothic recommendations, and let's get back to reading. Ew. Men are always have the freaking audacity. They always have the audacity. Ew. Yeah. Yeah. The things this book makes me feel, oh my gosh. You guys, I can't believe this is the first book I finished in the new year. I was meant to finish this in the last year, but life got in the way and I didn't have time. But this was definitely a strong way to start the year, because I'm giving this book 4.5 stars. This was an amazing, intense, dreary, gothic amazingness, really. It was just spectacular to witness it. It was so wonderfully written. I think the writing not only was very beautiful, but the goriness of it was written in such vivid detail that I had such physical reactions to it. I could feel shivers going down my spine. My toes were curling, and I had to stop at several points and look away because it made me feel so nauseous. It was so well done. One of the only books that has made me feel so much. This book has such an original take on vampirism. It is done in a way I have not seen before. I have not seen it talked about, and it was so clever. I loved how it developed, and I loved the mystery aspect of it. We were sitting on the edge of our seats to know what has happened, what is happening to Sarah. Is she gonna get better? How is she gonna get out of this? This book also had influences from the 1880s, of course, social hierarchies and how women were treated and viewed. Women were viewed as so much less than men. They were seen as creatures that had to submit to men, and especially to their husbands. Any emotions higher than what was viewed as normal was viewed as hysterical, and if a woman is viewed as hysterical, she is faced with the possibility that she will be sent away to a mental asylum. So, right. Sarah and Lucy had an aunt that had gone to the madhouse, so throughout this book they were trying to flee this expectation of them going mental as well, and it was captured so well how they needed to get out of it and what they did to try and look submissive or not stand out and not be threatened by this omnipresent threat. And another thing I loved was how the sister dynamic between Sarah and Lucy was done. I think it portrayed the bonds between sisters so well. So much love, compassion, that give or take, and just the pure loyalty each of them had to each other was spectacular, and I really enjoyed reading from that perspective. I don't think I've read many books with that sister dynamic, that sisterhood that they had. I do have to say, it made me want to read more books with sisters in it. I think it just did it so well. But like I said, I think this book was definitely an amazing start to the year, and I don't know how I'm gonna top this anytime soon. It definitely became one of my favorite Gothic stories. It is not a romance, so I've seen people say that this is a Gothic romance. It is not. It is a Gothic horror through and through. And if you're someone that doesn't do well with gore, I would not pick it up because it really puts you in that physical revulsion. It definitely triggers some parts of this in your brain, so I would definitely steer clear of it if you don't like gore. But for me, it was great. I loved having those emotions evoked because it's not often that a book can do that so easily. But this will be all for this video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the Gothic recommendations and this vlog. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!